What's up, people? How y'all doing? I have returned for my long-awaited Supercross recap. This is the final one of the 2024 season before we head outdoors. The final round is from Salt Lake City, and I'm going to start with the 250 class today, and I'm going to actually put this into two videos because I got a little bit to talk about on both classes. But first of all, guys, remember, subscribe. Helps my channel grow, helps the algorithm as well, helps me keep my monetization status on my main channel, and I want to be able to keep it. The only way I can do that is with your help. So if you think I'm worth listening to, or you like some of my other uploads, or if you like some of the classic races I posted 10 years ago, hit the subscribe button. It's there. Only takes you about 2 seconds. So anyway, guys, subscribe. Let's get into this. I'm going to put up my banner here. I'm going to start with the 250 class today. Right there. RJ Hampshire made me a genius because he won the West Coast, and Tom Vialle will win the East Coast. I'm going to start with the West Coast first and get the elephant out of the room. The West Coast title was between RJ Hampshire and Levi Kitchen. And RJ Hampshire got the title because he got the better start. And on that note, if you're in the pro circuit tent and under Levi Kitchen's corner, you're pretty disappointed that the title chase was pretty much decided after the first turn. And I couldn't help but feel so bad for Levi Kitchen because he rode his ass off. Make no mistake about it. And did I think that he was going to catch Hampshire? Yeah, I did. I mean, he was almost on the same straightaway as Hampshire at times. But unfortunately, the start was everything. And after Levi Kitchen held off RJ Hampshire for the West Heat race, I thought, okay, maybe he's got that edge back. And he wants to win Pro Circuit, their first title since 2017. The unfortunate part was that was a track where the start was pretty much the entire race. And there wasn't a lot of other places to pass unless you really got creative. And that's why I came out with that past video saying that Dirtworks or whoever builds the tracks, namely Ricky, has to look at some other former guys, some other former racers for their own feedback and to make the tracks to give the tracks a lot more flavor, really, because having a whoop limit of 9, having a limit of 9 whoops is by far the dumbest thing ever. When some Supercross tracks from back in the day had as much as 10, 20, or 30 whoops, okay? So why would you cut the thing down all the way to 9? I mean, really. I mean, you not having enough dirt, that's so deceiving. And it seems to me like that maybe someone in Dirtworks is just too thick-headed, or whoever builds the tracks are just a little too thick-headed to just try and challenge these guys. Now, safety concerns, yeah, I get that. But you can have a pretty flavorable track if you just talk to other guys like they did in 08 and 09. And for some reason, that's been a thing of the past. And I was like, why? Those tracks were great. Seriously. Because the track at Salt Lake City was almost a little too basic. Okay? That's why I think that the track being way too basic did not play into Levi Kitchen's hands as well, which also explained for not a lot of passes going on. And make no mistake, Levi Kitchen tried hard, but just that the start was everything. And RJ Hampshire, he got that start. And after hearing that he wants to go to a 450, that's good, you know, and maybe even defend that title, ride a 450 on the opposite coast. That was what I would plan to do, you know. I mean, when Ryan Dungey was moving up, he even ran the 450 on the opposite coast as well in 2008. He didn't do that in 09 because he was leading the West title, and I could understand why. And that was because he wanted to make sure that he wasn't injured. Of course, you also put yourself at risk by racing on the opposite coast on the opposite coast in the 450. And while Dungey had some good rides on the 450 as well, something told me that he was going to have a good 450 career, but I just did not expect him to get as spoiled as he did in 2010. I'm going to talk about that in the 450 video, but anyway, sticking to the 250s. As far as the race win is concerned for the shootout or the showdown, however you want to call it, Haiden Deegan took the honors there, and that also looked like it was going to be a repeat of Detroit last year, where Deegan and Jordon Smith had a little playful battle in the heat race, and then Deegan ended up putting Jordon Smith into the top box, and Jordon Smith crashed in the LCQ and didn't make the main event. But I'll tell you what, seeing Jordon Smith go for the race win, that actually pretty much surprised me quite a bit. And not only that, it also took me back to the 2003 125 East title chase, where it was between Brock Sellards and Ivan Tedesco for the race win. And who won that race? Ivan Tedesco. After he passed Brock Sellards for the lead, and Yamaha had to be scratching their heads to why that happened. Because the points leader at the time was Brandon Jessamine, and he needed to have a really terrible performance for Brock Sellards to win the title. And Jessamine pretty much had to finish outside of the top 9 to have Sellards win the title. And that didn't happen. He finished 6th, Jessamine I'm talking about. And then Ivan Tedesco gets around Sellards, and then I guess Yamaha Troy saw the writing on the wall and decided, you know what, Ivan, you want to win this thing? Have at it. And I thought that Star Yamaha kind of saw the same thing with Haiden Deegan, because for Haiden Deegan to win the East title, Tom Vialle would have had to have a really crappy night, and he did not. Tom Vialle came home 7th or 8th, and he still ended up winning the title by something like 5 points over Haiden Deegan. But anyway, to finish up my point, Jordon Smith tried to go for the lead on Levi, or I should say Haiden Deegan. And I thought that Star Yamaha kind of saw the writing on the wall and told Jordon, okay, you know what? Jordon, you want to win this thing? Go for it. And he did. And I respect Jordon Smith for going for it, for going for the lead and getting his second win of the season. And unfortunately for Jordon Smith, it didn't work out for him. He ended up 3rd and on the ground. And after RJ Hampshire moved into 2nd place, that was pretty much it for the title chase for the West Coast anyway. But still, I feel bad for Levi Kitchen and Pro Circuit, because now they have to wait another year to win a title in Supercross. And that's 7 years already the Pro Circuit has not won a title. But Mitch Payton, I feel so terrible for him. From a team that pretty much could do no wrong, has had this kind of luck as of late. Kind of makes you think back to something like the late 90s, early 2000s, when the Pro Circuit Kawasaki team had nothing but injuries. I mean, other guys like Nathan Ramsey, Shea Bentley, Talon Volin, Scott Cheek, all those guys that were title contenders, they got injured back then. But as for RJ Hampshire making me look like a genius, he was my pick for the championship. But on that note, if Levi Kitchen won the title, I would have had no problem eating my words for the West Coast title. Now for the East title with Tom Vialle winning it. Good on Tom Vialle, especially coming from Europe or France and coming through and joining Stefan Ricotta and Christophe Purcell and the likes of winning a title from France, of course. And it looks like Tom Vialle is going to go to the 450 next year. Good on him, because if I'm Tom Vialle, I'm either racing the West Coast or defending the East title, because of course this is Vialle's second year in the 250 class, and it looks like he may get a year to defend it, or possibly an extra year or some, or maybe an extra 2 years. I don't know. The point out rule is still pretty bleak, but still, after watching Cooksy's video on the 250s and how he talked about the point out rule for the 250 class, just furthers my point more of why I think that the 250 class point out rule has to be tweaked. And that's why I came out with that video so many months ago, that if I'm the AMA, I'm going by points again and not just looking at the champion. Because really, if you're going to leave that rule in of win a title, you get 1 year to defend it, fine. But still, you also have to go by points, because the point of the 250 class, or when it was called the 125 class back in the day, is to make it a stepping stone to the premier class, not to let guys spend their entire careers in there. Because really, the way that I would change it, I would keep the rule in, but also add in the rule of scoring 100 points or more, or maybe even 150. Really, you want to make the 250 class a stepping stone to the premier class, not to have career guys in there. That's why I say to tweak the rule to scoring over 100 or 150 points in 3 seasons. Doesn't have to be consecutive. Okay? But for Tom Vialle to win this title, good on him. If he wants to go for back-to-back titles, go. Or if he wants to ride the West Series, okay. But as for Tom Vialle, after how 2023 went for him, I thought his learning curve was going to be pretty steep, like Grant Langston kind of steep. Okay? But after that, Langston was able to pick it up, and Tom Vialle was able to pick it up a little towards the end of last season, somewhat anyway. But this year, Tom really showed that he had the consistency down, and he was able to take advantage of Haiden Deegan getting caught up in that first turn mess at Detroit in the opener. So you know what? So before I say goodbye, folks, I want to give a final congrats all to Tom Vialle for winning the East title, and also to RJ Hampshire for winning the West title. And of course, as you can see, I'm a Rockstar drinker as well. So good on RJ. I hope that he defends that title and even rides the 450 out on the opposite coast. But if I'm him right now, if I'm RJ right now, I'm going for an East title, just to complete the mantle. If he gets the motocross title, cool. If he doesn't, I think I'd be okay with that. Because I don't know if RJ has really proved himself outdoors. So hopefully he does too. So thanks, guys. Subscribe, and I'll see you all for my 450 recap video.